Hi guys, me again, Dr. Victoria Scarbo, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. And as promised, the next person I'm going to look at astrologically that's running for the Democratic nomination for the presidency is Maryanne Williamson. And while she has not made the third debate yet, she definitely has a point of view, a very valuable point of view, and a very different point of view in some ways, and in other ways similar to some of the other candidates. But she is not a politician. She is an author. She is a community organizer. She is a spiritual advisor. She's been called a spiritual advisor to Oprah, um, and uh, and she has written many books on spiritual subjects. Her first book was on the Course in Miracles, and so she has a very interesting biography, and she has helped many people and done some pretty amazing things humanitarian wise. But let's take a look at her chart and see what we can see with Maryanne. So I have her, okay, before I do that, I have her born July 8th, 1952 at 3:53 a.m. in Houston Heights, Texas. Okay, so here we have Maryanne's chart. And we're going to look at it, of course, from the perspective of evolutionary astrology, as we have with all the candidates up to this point. And what I've done is I've highlighted, I've highlighted her Pluto and her Pluto polarity point in pink, and I've highlighted her nodes in yellow, and then we do have a couple of a planet and an asteroid square her nodes, so we'll look at that as well. So, being born in 1952, Pluto is in Leo, and so she is Pluto in Leo generation. Of course, this is later in 1952, so it's a later degree of Pluto. So she has Pluto at 20 degrees, looks like 3 minutes, 5 minutes, sorry about that, 6 minutes, in her third house. Pluto, somebody has Pluto in the third house, is a voracious reader. This is somebody who loves books. I would bet that her house or her apartment or where she lives is she has one of those bookshelves where it goes from the top to the bottom, and she's probably read them all, quite frankly. She has a deep desire to be heard, to be loved, to self-express. And of course, she has written many books. The third house is writing, and the ninth house is publishing. So part of her journey in this lifetime, part of the thing that has helped her to evolve in this lifetime is the fact that she is published. She's a published author. Okay, so she has the South Node also in Leo, and it's only less than a degree away. So when she was born, Pluto was sitting on the South Node of the Moon. Now, when Pluto was on the South Node of the Moon, as it is in Cory Booker's chart, it usually takes 2 cycles of Saturn before the person starts to move in the direction of the North Node or fully actualizes the North Node. Now, she has actualized the North Node somewhat already. Maryanne is a very old soul, we'll say that. When you have Pluto conjunct the South Node, you could be having a relive lifetime where you have to relive the energy of Pluto in Leo in that South Node. The third house is the house of your immediate environment, your neighborhood. And she has done a lot of work in the neighborhood, so to speak. She was one of the first people to bring meals to people suffering with AIDS because they were stuck at home and nobody would go in because they were terrified that they would get AIDS. So these people needed help, and that has grown into feeding millions of people, not just with AIDS, but with all kinds of debilitating conditions. And so we can see that she has worked her Pluto in this third house. Generally, where Pluto sits is you don't get a lot of satisfaction in your life, and it sort of drives you up into the polarity point of Pluto. But I feel in her life, and of course I don't know everything about her, and I'm sure she's had her challenges in this third house, but I would probably say that she is somebody who has mostly come in to utilize that Pluto as not so much as a relive, but as a talent and ability that she brings forth from other lifetimes, and that this very well for her could be a life where she is reaping the rewards of work done in previous lives. And so the Pluto down here in that third house isn't as difficult, we'll say, per se, as it would be in somebody who was a little less, we'll say, evolved. Okay. And so she's able to manifest. It doesn't take her till she's in her second Saturn return to express this North Node and this polarity point of Pluto. But that being said, she doesn't come into full fruition until after the second Saturn return. The thing is that she's 66 years old. I believe it's 66. Excuse my math if I'm wrong. And she's had her Saturn return. She's had her second Saturn return. She has Saturn in Libra. And so Saturn was in Libra around 2010. So that's when she had her second Saturn return. So about 10 years ago. So she has had, time to sort of develop. And since that time, she actually ran for, I think it was state senator in California already. She did not win that, but she said she was very naive about the whole process. And she's learned from it. So we can see somebody who is manifesting their polarity point and their North Node. And this is a very powerful thing to have. Now, Cory Booker has it. He has it in Virgo because he was born in the 1960s. He was born in 1969. He has it in different houses, so it's different in that respect. But this is somebody who, when you have the Pluto on the South Node, or you have Pluto on the North Node. In fact, Barack Obama had Pluto on his North Node, and we know how much he got done. You really do have a big influence on things, and so I would say Cory Booker in his career will have big influence, whether or not he becomes president or not. He is going to be out there and seen for a long time. Okay, back to Maryanne. So Maryanne does have planets square the nodes. Okay. And she has Jupiter square the nodes, and Jupiter is in the is it the 11th house, and she has Ceres square the nodes from the 12th house. Okay, and she has a Gemini ascendant. That Gemini ascendant is a mercurial. Gemini is a mercurial sign. And she looks a little, and she's 66, but she looks fantastic. There's an ageless quality to her, right? She's beautiful. She's a beautiful woman. And there's almost like an elf-like quality to her. An elf-like quality. She's like a little elf with those beautiful cheekbones of hers. So we have these two planets, one planet, one asteroid square the nodes. And if we took the midpoint of these two, it's exactly square Pluto. Okay? So when you have something squaring the nodes, it sort of drives your life. It defines your life. It's like the thing that you spend all your time trying to figure out, and you struggle with it until you can um, uh, find the way through to the other side of it, because you will have a tendency to flip-flop back and forth if you can't resolve this. And so the resolution node in the case of Maryanne Williamson is her north node. So this is the resolution node here. Did I write it? No, but I'll write it. So for her, the resolution node is the north node in Aquarius in that ninth house. The ninth house is the house of truth. In Aquarius is about working for the good of all. Okay, the good of all. Her north node is in a wide conjunction to the moon of the United States in the Sibley chart, if you use the Sibley chart. I think the moon's at like 27 degrees of Aquarius. And so that is conjunct. Her sun, she is a Cancer, okay, and she also has Uranus conjunct her sun, just like Liz Warren. So here we have somebody who is Cancer, which is very maternal, very loving, very nurturing. But when you put Uranus next to it, it becomes very much an energy of cosmic mother. So the thing with Cancer is Cancers generally don't like to leave the house, quite frankly. But the fact that she has Cancer conjunct Uranus makes her a different type of mother, more collective, more universal. She also has Venus here in Cancer. Venus is at 20 degrees. Her sun is conjunct the sun of the United States. Her Uranus is conjunct the sun of the United States. Her Venus is in a wide conjunction to the United States Sun and Mercury. Mercury's at 20, about 24, 25. So it's a little wide, but it's there. So her energy, okay, she really does speak to America. Her moon is in Capricorn, and it's at 28 degrees, 42 minutes. This is the Pluto of the United States. And so she has a real bead on the psychological and emotional temperature of the people in the United States. This woman is connected and she understands. The fact that she has Ceres square the nodes in Taurus, this is that program, I think it was Angel Meals or Angel Wings or something that fed the AIDS patients. Ceres is about it's actually about food. It's about nurturing in Taurus in a very practical way. The 12th house is the hidden house. So those people who are hidden, that people don't see, she made sure that she fed them, right? Resolution node, the Aquarius, ninth house. Jupiter is what she believes to be true. She has Jupiter in Taurus. And Jupiter in Taurus, of course, deals with our resources, our resourcefulness. Okay? Resolution node here is about fair distribution of resources. Okay? So in the 11th house, which is the Aquarius house. So this woman really does have her hand on the pulse of the needs of Americans, the needs of the people. And she understands, to a certain extent, the power structure as well, having the Pluto of America sitting on her moon. And so the suffering of Americans affects her very, very deeply with that Capricorn moon. But the Capricorn moon tends to make us be much more practical. It's like, yes, I can feel it, but what can we do to fix it? What can we do to resolve this issue? So we have somebody here with a very, very powerful chart. Let me just see what else I have, because I can't really see, so I apologize for this. Her Mercury is conjunct the North Node of the United States in the Sibley chart. So she gives voice to the future, our future destiny. So she is a voice to be listened to. And let's see what else here. Her Neptune is, I believe, conjunct the Saturn. It's wide. The Saturn of the United States. I think the Saturn of the United States is 12 degrees, 13 degrees of Libra. And so she is bringing a spirituality to Neptune, the structure of America, including the structure around the rule of law. I almost feel like she's reflecting natural law in the law of the United States, in the United States being the rule of law. I mean, we've been saying that for how long, and now we have a president who breaks all the rules and is not being held accountable. So we'll see how the rule of law does part of the challenge of the Pluto return for the United States, which happens next 2022. So we have a couple of years yet. So that's the chart of Maryanne Williamson. Very, very interesting chart. Very connected to the United States. It would be interesting to see her as the spiritual guide for the United States in some way. Of course, if she got into the Senate, that would be helpful to, eventually get into the Senate. So it's a very interesting chart. She's an amazing, amazing person, and she is well thought out. She is very intelligent, and maybe sometimes a little wacky and off the wall, but that's her Uranus. That's her Uranus conjunct the Sun. She's going to always be outside of the box, and believe me, you'd much rather be outside of the box these days than inside of the box. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that. Like and subscribe. If you would like your own reading from an evolutionary perspective, evolutionary astrology perspective, along with the numerology and the Kabbalah, which hers I will put in down below, so you can connect to that if you haven't seen her Kabbalah and numerology reading that I did on her a couple months ago. If you would like that reading, you can contact me at my website, theseedsoftransformation.com, or email me, vickyscurbo@gmail. I think that's on the YouTube anyway, tells you my email. I'd love to do that. So if anybody knows Julian Castro's date, time of birth, Beto O'Rourke, who else? Kirsten Gillibrand. I don't have accurate times for them. Somebody suggested to do dawn charts, charts when the sun is at dawn, when the sun rises, sunrise charts, for those people who I don't have accurate times for. So if worse comes to worse, or if that's the way I have to do it, I will look into that and do that. So thank you for that. I can't remember who suggested that, but thank you very much for that. You're probably watching because you're an astrologer. And if any astrologers have any other insight, please you can share it. I'm open. Have yourself a great day. Like and subscribe. I said that already. Okay, I'm gonna leave. Bye.